Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? We're getting to Love Island series 11. We are now on episode 12. And let me tell you, when I say Sam was getting on my nerves, Sam was getting on my last nerve. She is up and down and all over the place, man, and she's so hypocritical and contradicting. It's untrue. And then also Ronnie proved my point. That's all I'm gonna say before we get into this episode. That Ronnie proved my point that he is there to play. He ain't there for nothing serious. This man is there to play, and in the process he's making these women look raw stupid right about now. Anyway, before we get into this episode, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so when you know I'm on and doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do all the good things that you do, because I am on the road to 1K. You heard it here first. Now, first we'll start off by saying as well, don't watch my attire. Please don't watch my attire. I am working from home and I am going to be as comfortable as I can be when I am working from home at the end of the day. So we shall start as we mean to go on. And I do notice that more people have subscribed to my page, and I do thank each and every one of you that comes through and actually watches my videos all the way through, actually does give a like, hopefully give a comment now and again. I see you all doing that, and I really appreciate it. Like, seriously really appreciate it, because this starts off as a hobby for me, do you know what I mean? Because I like to, as you can see, I like to talk a lot. I like to talk a lot, and I have a lot of theories going on in this old noggin of mine too. But anyway, you ain't here to hear about me. Let's talk about this episode, shall we? So we know, as it came out from the previous episode, before we get into this episode, is that the bombshells have been given a text where they'll get to spend the night somewhere else with an islander of their choice. I mean, we could have picked who they were going to pick already, do you know what I mean? We really could have, but we'll, like, you know, build up that suspense as we go along. So we already know as well that Kieran was wanting Grace, because Kieran mentioned to Omar that he copped out when he gave Jess that kiss on the cheek, yeah, and what he actually wanted to do was kiss Grace, but he knew that there would have been some fallout with Nicole somewhere. Now, my thing is I don't know why Kieran felt to tell Omar that crap, because at the end of the day, you know, secrets don't stay a secret within Love Island at the end of the day. So now this shit is going to come and rear its ugly head for Kieran. And then we see how Joey has apparently set off Sam's full-on insecurities, because this girl is just acting completely different since these bombshells come in. So we get to see the fallout from the beer pong game, and basically Sam is already on Will, like going and chatting to him, wanting to have those conversations with him. Will is kind of giving it the large with Sam, but I don't really think he's very much interested in Sam. He says that she may be on the list, but I think that list for Will is dwindling and dwindling and dwindling, especially when it comes to the point where, you know what, there's going to come a point where you're going to recouple and you're going to have to pick somebody off your list at the end of the day. So he's saying that Will's saying that he wants to get to know everybody. He's doing his parts, but I don't think he can be like flirty, fighty, mighty with everybody, because everyone's going to give off their own kind of, like, you know, vibe towards him. So basically, Sam is already been open with him about how she likes her fellas to be boisterous, how she likes her fellas to, like, grab her or smack her on the ass. And I'm like, here it comes, because before too long she's going to mention the failures that is Joey in her books. So when Will turns around and says, well, is he not doing that for you, straight away she says it. And this is what I mean with Sam. She is a contradictory to herself, because at the end of the day, she's saying all this bullshit to other people and this guff about Joey and how he's not meeting her needs. But then when Joey asks her directly, she won't open her mouth and say, do you know what, this is my issue, this is my problem, can we work past this, can you fix this? She's not saying it at all, but then she behaves in a way that makes her seem like, oh, I'm unbothered by situations that are happening between Joey and Grace, when we can actually see that this girl is bothered to high heavens and back. She can't school herself in the slightest to say that she's not bothered. She's completely bothered, yeah. And then, and I will get to it, she shows her ass by contradicting herself and then being hypocritical when she's talking to the girls and making it appear as though it's all Joey's fault. This is why she's acting this way. It's all Joey's fault because Joey hasn't done this and Joey hasn't done that. When in actuality, it's Sam that is creating that whole atmosphere and environment where she is literally pushing Joey away. And it's going to freaking work at the end of the day, because let's just put it this way. There was unfinished business between Joey and Grace. And Joey still feels that automatic connection to Grace. Sam hasn't done enough in order to try and make Joey think or stopgap that and say, you know what? Is it because Grace is in front of me and I'm feeling lust for her, because I am actually feeling so much more for this person? Sam ain't even touched the sides when it comes to that with Joey. So then we'll carry on into the bullshit that was this episode. Okay. So Jess, you see Jess and Kieran having a talk, and basically Kieran is talking about the fact that he didn't know how to feel about the kiss that Nicole and Will had. And I'm like, well, at this point, I don't think Kieran needs to read too much into it, especially bearing in mind that he copped out with Jess. Yeah, this is what he's forgetting. He copped out with Jess by kissing Jess on the cheek when the actual person he really wanted to slack it on was Grace. What he needs to realise is that Nicole had no other option but to kiss Dude, because Dude picked her out in the game. It weren't like it was a long kiss. It weren't like it was a great kiss. It actually looked like a proper awful kiss, to be honest with ya. But Jess weren't helpful in the fact that where she was like, yeah, you shouldn't read too much into that kiss, but yeah, it was definitely a kiss. And I'm like, what does that mean for someone? Like, seriously, what does that mean? Because that doesn't allay Kieran's anxieties in regards to Nicole, as he sees his gal kissing another guy. At the end of the day, he was absolutely jealous by that. And you see Jess talking about the situation with Harriet, where Harriet ended up picking Jess on the cheap for her being an untrustworthy person. And you see Jess using the words like, you know, calling Harriet a cheeky bitch. I'm just like, well, she's petty. Let's put it that way. Harriet's petty, but she's not cheeky. At the end of the day, you made her feel a certain kind of way because you were chatting to her like she was shit on the bottom of your shoe. So she was going to do something in order to make you recognise and realise that, you know what, no, you're not getting away with that. And that's why Harriet picked Jess as the most untrustworthy person, because that's how Harriet saw Jess to herself as an individual. I don't think Jess is an untrustworthy person. I just think Jess likes to play games, and Jess likes to think that she is the big I am, and Jess likes to, like, you know, be confronting. She's a confronting type of person. She likes the confrontation, and she also likes to ensure that, you know what I say goes. I'm putting forward exactly what I think, and she doesn't care how she puts her words forward. That's the problem with Jess. In being direct, yeah, she's absolutely quite evil with it, to be fair, and she's not very fair with it, and I don't think she reads between the lines. It's just straight linear. This is how I think, this is how I feel, and now you're gonna hear it at the end of the day. And that's how Jess is. I wouldn't like her to be the boss of me in anything. Let's just put that way, because me myself, I couldn't deal with that kind of directness. There's directness and then there is directness. So then you see the pile of shit that is Ronnie. That pile of bullcrap that Ronnie is at the end of the day. And this is why I don't understand why Harriet and Jess still be fighting over this man. Yeah, when Harriet is now seeing the true colours of this man. I keep telling you that Ronnie is literally showing people who he is, but they seem to still want to gravitate towards this man. I swear to God, he's got some kind of good drugs in his sprinkle dust, I'm telling you, for them to keep going the way that he does. So basically Ronnie's telling Tiffany how happy he is that she picked him in the game, because apparently Ronnie and Joey can't stop talking about the beer pong game. They cannot stop talking about it, yeah, because it's literally opened up and lit a fire under their arses, because player Ronnie has come out to play, and Joey is literally gunning for Grace at the end of the day, because that is where he wants to be. And I'll tell you for why, how his relationship is different with Grace than it is with Sam, because Joey will naturally gravitate towards Grace. Joey will kiss Grace like he did in, like, you know, over in their separate pads, but we'll get to that. The way he grabs her, the way he looks at her, everything like that, the way he speaks to her, interacts with her, everything is different. It's done with a purpose. And Joey's purpose is he wants to leave that place with Grace. He wants to rekindle his relationship with that girl. So Sam wasn't far off wrong with that one, but the way that Sam played it, literally, you pushed Joey towards that end of the stratosphere, to be fair, when it came to Grace. She literally pushed him over there. So that's where Joey's decided to go. So basically, I'm like, Ronnie has a full situation on his hands with Jess and Harriet, yeah, but wants to add to it with Tiffany. Tiffany is a bit of him, yeah, is what he's saying, and Tiffany likes him. I don't think he's looking at, you know, Tiffany being the deal of him and Tiffany being in a relationship. I think for Ronnie, it's more about the play, it's more about the catch, and then it's more about the, let's see how far I can get away with this bullshit. That's it with Ronnie. So Will decides to grab Jess for a chat, and they do get flirty, they do. And I think with Jess, as I've already said, when she picked Sean, it was a gameplay when she picked Sean. At the end of the day, I don't think she's necessarily interested in Sean in the slightest. Even though she says that she's paired off with Sean, when she's talking to Will, she says that, you know, sometimes I like to have that instant sexual connection, but I'm not getting that with Sean, and it's more like a friendship kind of vibe. But you weren't getting that with Sean from the get-go. You picked him to get back at Ronnie. You picked him to force Ronnie's hand into picking you. That's what she did. She might say otherwise, but that is essentially what she did with Sean. And I think Sean is kind of picking up on those vibes of what she's done in that respect. So then you see Joey and Sam. I think Joey's talking to, I think he might be talking to some of the lads and one of the girls, and Sam really wants to hear what's being said. So Joey is talking about Grace and the situation that they were in, and I'm like, now Sam has a full-on issue, and I'm like, please, my girl, used to had a conversation when you were on a date, and Joey basically said, if someone comes in on that island that takes your fancy more than he does, or you want to get to know, he said go for it, because he's basically saying that used to were open, used to ain't in that. So for Sam to get upset is beyond me, because she said the same words back to Joey. So you see what I mean by this girl being hypocritical and contradictory of her behaviours. She doesn't know whether she's coming or going at the moment. So I'm just like, all she does is complain about Joey anyway. So I don't understand why she wants to be with a man who's not meeting her needs. I just don't understand it. I think it's coming across as, I don't want to be on my own. I can't be on my own. I need someone there with me. So this is how Sam is portraying that, and yeah, it's not a good look. It ain't a good look. So you see Ronnie and his audacity sitting with Harriet. Joey's at the kitchen, and you see Tiffany there, yeah, and basically in front of Harriet's face. This is why I said this man don't care. He has no respect for Jess or for Harriet, but you know what, they're gonna keep doing what they're doing. So Ronnie talks about how the game was good. So Tiffany then turns around out of the blue and says, why? Because you kissed me. And Ronnie says, yeah, and starts laughing like that's funny. My guy, that's not funny. My guy, you were lucky that Harriet went with me, because you would have got slapped across your rassy chops. I would have said, you fucking what? What do you mean? And how dare you ask that question of him in front of me? Do you not see me sitting here? Do I look like Scotch Mist to you? But it's the fact that Ronnie was so comfortable in firing back his answer in front of Harriet that told me, you know what, Harriet, this man ain't about you. This man is not about you. It's time you cut bait and do what Jess did at the end of the day. You don't need this man, seriously. He's playing you both. He's playing you both, and now he's drawing Tiffany into the rubbish. That is the Ronnie world of playing them. That's what he's doing. So he's still sitting there, and at first Harriet's there giggling, and I'm like, this must be some kind of nervous giggle. This must be a delayed reaction until she realizes exactly what it is that he's just said to Tiffany and Tiffany said to him. And it was because Harriet then gets up and gets mad at him and basically walks off and saying, well, that wasn't nice at all. That was actually disrespectful. And as Harriet is walking off in her humph, Ronnie's still there laughing. Ronnie is still there laughing. And Tiffany is still trying to act, and Tiffany tried to act innocent, like she didn't cause the ruckus, right, Nessa? I was like, yeah, that should tell you it all. I mean, I keep saying this man is showing these two girls exactly who he is, but they're choosing to ignore it, and Harriet still continues to ignore the bullshit that is running, and I'll come on to for why. How much advice can you give to this girl? Like, seriously, because now it's kind of like you signed up for that and you're going to continue to co-sign his bullshit by then, as you did in the bed, kissing the dude, literally under the covers, kissing the dude up. And I'm like, after the bullshit game that he just played with you in front of your face, and you still managed to lips this man. I'm like, Harriet, come on, where's your self-respect? Like, seriously, where is your self-respect? You don't need a man that bad, and especially a man like Ronnie. Ronnie is showing you who he is, and you still continue to engage in this man's bullshit. She's saying that her and Grace and Joey need to get to know each other, and it could be the start of them rekindling something. And like, she is saying that she's not bothered. Even Joey had to say to her, I don't understand your reasoning. If you are not so bothered, then why in the hell have you come out to sleep on the daybed? At the end of the day, Joey's saying, I don't know if I want to rekindle things with Grace, but I think with this situation that's happening with Sam, he definitely is being pushed into that scenario where his mind is like, you know what, I actually do want to get to know this girl again, because even though we were together, it was hot and heavy, yeah, but he still thought about her to the point where before he came into Love Island, he was still trying to connect with that girl, but she didn't connect with him. And now that she's there, he's going to take his opportunity. That's what's going to happen. Joey's going to take his opportunity, because Grace was the one that got away for Joey at the end of the day, and Sam has just made it all the more easier for him to go and navigate his situation with Grace, because she acted like an absolute prize bloody plum, to be fair. Because I don't understand why women and girls do that. I really don't. I don't know who's taught you that shit, in terms of saying you're not bothered when your behaviours are showing that you are bothered, yeah. And then when the guy talks to you, you actually don't tell them what the fuck is bothering you, to the point where, you know what, talk this shit through. Communication helps, instead of pushing the man away to get to know somebody else when you clearly have an issue with it. I don't understand that mentality of working. I really don't, because it doesn't work out to your favour. Either way which you look at it, it won't work out to Sam's favour. So then it comes to the daytime, and you get confirmation that actually Will is liking Uma a lot. He likes her. So, you know, that's put paid there. I mean, Will needs to forget about checking on anybody else, because he already likes Uma. You see, Joey's still going on about the night before. And basically he's talking about Sam's actions from the night before as well, saying that they were not needed and that it makes no sense to him. And basically all I would say in that scenario is Joey needed to have some kind of, you know, what's the word they say? Some kind of developed thinking, in the fact that it's going to be different for Sam in Joey getting to know Grace, because at the end of the day, he has history with Grace, and that history is unfinished, basically, to the point where they could actually rekindle what it is that they'd lost in the beginning and go back down that trajectory. So for Sam, it's a little, their situation is a little bit different, but I would say that Sam became a self-saboteur overnight. Like, she sabotaged herself completely, and I think she thinks she's done the right thing, but she knows she has not done the right thing because all she's done is push Joey away. So basically, you see Sam talking to the girls and saying that she's done the right thing in backing off. And then she tells a short-ended story of Joey calling her pathetic without giving the context at all. And I'm like, my girl, you're a liar. He was saying the situation that you moving out of the room to the daybed is quite pathetic. That situation was pathetic, which it was. He wasn't calling you pathetic per se. At the end of the day, he was saying your behaviour is pathetic. So I think Sam needed to get that right in context, because she's making Joey look like a proper dickhead up in there towards the girls, and Harriet was basically saying that she would have that chat with Joey, do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, give context to what it is that you're saying, because right now it just makes you look like a damn ass liar. So Grace does definitely think that there's something there with Joey, and she's open to exploring that with him. And basically, Uma is Will's number one, which we already know, but he's still saying he's keeping his option open. No, from when you said that Uma is your number one, you ain't keeping no options open. You ain't. Your trajectory is Uma. So I'm just like, you know what? There's full-on games that are being played now. And case in point, for example, is when Nicole and Kieran have their chat about the situation that happened the night before with the beer pong. The conversation at first seemed kind of awkward between them. Kieran basically said that he was not happy in the way that Nicole got up and kissed Will. Not appreciating that actually within the game it was Will that chose to kiss her. She just went along with the game in that sense. But I always say, these games kind of have truth and meaning to them, and people do take it different ways when you start messing with other people that you're already coupled off with or locked off with at the end of the day, even though they haven't made it official yet. Do you know what I mean? But then you've also got the backing of that, where Kieran has already said that he copped out when it came to Jess, and all he wanted to do was to kiss Grace, but he didn't because he knew there would have been fallout from Nicole. So if that information comes out, that kind of will make Kieran look like a full-on hypocrite by getting angry at Nicole kissing Will. Now, I always tend to find that when people get angry at certain people doing things that they wish they'd done or be able to do with another person, they then put their extended feelings onto the person that they're kind of angry with. And that's what Kieran was doing to Nicole, to the point that Nicole got upset, then he had to hug her. So basically Nicole was showing him how much she wanted him, and that's what he was looking for, some validation from her, which is piss poor behaviour in my books, to be honest with you, especially when you were going to kiss somebody else. So that's what I mean about the games that are being played right now, like seriously. So then you go to Tiffany going and having a chat with Harriet, and she was basically checking on things between Harriet and Ronnie and seeing where they are. Harriet was basically excusing Ronnie's behaviour by saying that Ronnie gets overexcited. And this is why I'm saying Ronnie's going to keep pushing it with Harriet, because Harriet ain't pulling him to task the way that Jess has. That's the problem with Harriet. This man keeps showing her and showing her and showing her who he is by doing the shit that he does in front of her, and she just accepts it. She kisses him and accepts it, and then makes an excuse. He was only overexcited. No, my love. No, he wasn't. He wasn't overexcited. He was literally testing the waters to see how far he could freaking go with you. That's what he was doing to Harriet. But Harriet don't see that in the slightest. So then you see Joey. Joey is hawking Grace like a bad one. And I'm like, he wants that girl for real. Like, the dynamics completely changed in the villa since these bombshells have come in. And Sam is literally going to be out at the door because Joey's gone. Joey has gone completely. He looks so happy with Grace. He seeks Grace out to talk to her and everything like that. And Sam just looks dejected. And I'm like, well, you can look dejected all you like, Sam, but you gave Joey your blessing. You gave Joey your blessing when you did what you did, in terms of saying, I'm taking a step back because I think you need to explore whatever's going on between you and Grace and yada yada, all that spiel when you know you wasn't happy. So I'm sorry, I ain't got no empathy when it comes to that situation, because she basically opened the door for that. So the text comes in, and then they now got to pick who the islander of their choice is, and we already know Grace picked Joey, and Sam looked even more dejected by that. And Joe was happy. Joe was completely happy. Will picked Uma. Jess did not like that at all because Jess thought she was a shoo-in with Will. No, my love. Will was just playing blanket with you. His main goal was Uma at the end of the day. So then Tiffany, and they already knew who she was going to pick, which was Ronnie. Harriet didn't like that at all. Jess didn't like that at all in the slightest. Like, in the slightest. And I thought, yeah, now you both have another set of fucking competition to deal with at the end of the day, because Jess's plan in picking Sean didn't work for her. As I said, it would backfire, and it freaking did. Backfired royally on her backside. So you see them all getting ready, and you see Jess, Harriet and Sam all sitting together, and they were not happy at that turn of events. Oh my god, it was literally like the what was it? For Harriet and Jess, it was the Ronnie downtrodden club, and for Sam it was the downtrodden club of Joey for one. My god, it was ridiculous. Basically you see them all going, and everybody else was hugging everybody else to say have a good time, and even Harriet and Jess hugged Ronnie and all of that, and Joey was stood there looking around for Sam, and Sam didn't go and hug Joey at all, and she said that she was not going to hug Joey Essex in the slightest, and she said F Joey Essex. And this is what told me that Sam was literally just about Joey Essex' personality and not Joey Essex the man at the end of the day. She made the decision that she was going to take a step back, yeah. She made the decision that she was going to go sleep on the daybed. She said that she's saying to other people that Joey is failing in meeting her needs as they're coupled up together. So Sam is a full-on hypocrite right now. Like a full-on hypocrite. So you see the other guys go, they have their own villa looking like Casa Amor. They're enjoying themselves in there. You see Joey actually did kiss Grace, and let me tell you, when he kissed Grace, he put his heart and soul into that kiss. Ain't no word of a lie. He told her that he missed her, she missed him too, and I think that's where the trajectory is going with them two, even when they got out. And I think they were getting cleaned up together. Joey couldn't help but grab her and kiss her again, and I'm telling you, that's what's missing from him and Sam's relationship. That's why it's dead in the water for Joey and Sam, like completely dead in the water. And then what gets me hyped up is the fact that Sam had the gall to turn around and tell these girls and complain how Joey didn't even come and hug her to say goodbye or nothing like that. And I'm like, are you taking the piss, my girl? Because you sat there not so long ago and said, I'm not going to hug Joey, I'm not going to do that because, you know, F him, da 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 da. I thought, nah, Sam's taking the piece. Sam is absolutely taking the piece right now with this situation. So you also see Ronnie give a full-on kiss to Tiffany, and this is where, like, you see in the villa, it's quite funny because you see in the villa that Sam and Harriet are talking by the fire pit, and they're talking about the situation with Ronnie and how Harriet is believing that Ronnie may do what it is that they're going to do over in that other place, the overnight. And as they're doing that, they pan to the overnights, and as I said, Ronnie is giving the lips down to Tiffany. So then you hear like the conversation that's happening between Sam and Sean at first. I can't remember who's in the water with Sam and Sean because Harriet isn't there at that point. I think it might have been Nicole. And basically Sean is having these feelings that Jess only picked him to get back at Ronnie, and Sam did say that maybe that could have been the case, but she's not too sure. But Sam was having those conversations first before Harriet even got there, yeah. So then Harriet comes in, and they talk about what they were talking about, and Harriet did say that she just wanted to put it forward. She weren't casting aspersions on anybody. She said she did have those feelings that maybe Sean that maybe Jess picked a power play in picking Sean to force somebody's hands, but she hopes that is not the case. So basically she thought it the same way Sean thought it, the same way freaking Sam thought it. The only person who didn't say nothing was Nicole. Okay, so then when Sean has this conversation with Jess and basically puts it out there that the girls have been saying X, Y, and Z, I'm like, no, Sean. Tell it truthfully. At the end of the day, you were the one that had these suspicions that Jess may have chose you as a power play against Ronnie at the end of the day. And this is why you went to go speak to the girls to get their take on it. But he made it seem as though that the girls had said this to him directly. Now, you see Jess get absolutely boiled by that. She doesn't actually answer his question at first in regards to why she picked him. So then she turns around and that she picked him because she wanted to give him a chance to see if what they had or any type of connection could come to fruition. Lies upon lies. Jess did not pick Sean to see if they had any type of connection because Jess already knew whether she'd have a connection with Sean or not, because Sean was seeking Jess out to chat to her and she was not interested in him in the slightest. She only picked Sean to play a game with Ronnie, to force Ronnie's hand, and she knows she did this, but she can't admit it fully because it'll make her look like a full-on freaking dickhead at the end of the day. A real dickhead. So as she's finished talking to Sean, she stomps over to Nicole and Sam and has that conversation with them. Now, when they're having this conversation, Sam and Nicole is basically saying, well, no, we didn't say that at all. Nicole says, well, I didn't say anything and you can ask him. And Jess is saying, well, I did ask him, but he's not prepared to put any names out there who said it. So when she turns around and she goes, was it her? They both went quiet and I thought, are you taking a freaking piss? Because at the end of the day, it was Sam who started that conversation with Sean. Harriet came in afterwards and said what she said at the end of the day, but she didn't say that Jess actually did that. She said she hoped that Jess didn't do that, but it may seem that way at the end of the day because Sean was the one with the suspicions in the first place. So for them to go quiet and then for Jess to turn around, oh, she's a cheeky bitch. So then when Harriet comes over and has this conversation, Harriet then has to re-explain, well, actually, no, that's not how it went. Jess knows that actually it was Sean having those feelings, not the girls, and this is the context of how that situation went. And this is what I mean. I don't understand why they would do that against Harriet for, because Harriet weren't the one having a conversation with him in the first place. Anyway, that is where the episode ended. I shall be back in quick succession with the next episode. As I always ask, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so when you know I'm on and doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do all the good things that you do. And I'll be back across your screens very soon. Peace out.